welcome back to Snack Bar Gaming. I'm Garland, and today we're talking about the PSA AK-47 GF3. This one in particular is the OD Green. I'll be honest, I historically have not been a fan of complete rifles that come out of PSA. I like a lot of the parts they make, but their standalone rifles tend to be overgassed for my taste. I actually really like this. So it is a little overgassed, but not to the point of failure like some of the ARs I've shot from them. I had one of their Freedom rifles a couple years back that anytime you ran steel case after a couple rounds, it would actually, the case would stick in the chamber and the extractor would rip through the case head. And at that point, you know, that's the end of your range trip unless you have a ramrod, which I never carry. So this rifle right here is the first AK I've ever owned. I've shot a few, you know, borrowed from people at the range, that kind of thing. But I've never owned one and never really put a lot of rounds through one. It took a little getting used to. The first thing I ran into was the recoil on this. I know 7.62 tends to recoil a little bit more than 5.56, but not a whole lot. This one's really thumpy. It feels kind of like it's angry at you, and I'm not sure what's causing that. It's probably because it's overgassed a little bit and because it has polymer furniture and doesn't have any sort of muzzle brake other than the slant brake, but I wouldn't really count that as a brake. That said, once I got used to it and got more comfortable with my placement on my shoulder, it isn't as bad as it was when I first started shooting it. The first range day with it, it beat the shit out of me. But I'd also been shooting a lot of other things that day too. But the other weird thing for me, I'll pocket that mag for now. Check, clear, clear, is the trigger. I'm used to having take up, see? I'm used to having take up in the trigger, and then there's like a wall before it breaks. This doesn't have that. It's my understanding that AKs in general don't do that. It's a different type of trigger. And at first that was really jarring coming off my experience, which is mostly ARs. But once I got used to it, I've actually started to like it a little bit. It's not my preference, but it's definitely usable. I had this out at Panteo yesterday. I didn't get any video shooting it, but I had it out at 300 yards standing unsupported on a man-sized target, which, you know, that's pretty much serviceable for any, you know, most purposes. I didn't really put it on paper or anything, so I don't know the inherent accuracy of it, but shooting it for what it was designed to do, it does it really well. It's more than accurate enough. You know, the trigger's not a type of trigger I like, but for what it is, it doesn't seem offensive in any way, and I consider that a win. The bad things about this are pretty much all build quality. So this was a blim. I don't know exactly what it was that blimmed this out in particular, but there were a couple build quality concerns with it. So it looks like when they assembled it, the detent here that holds this muzzle device on, they hadn't rotated it all the way into place. My understanding is they probably just didn't cut the threads properly. So it started to unscrew itself while I was shooting within about 100 rounds. But put a pair of channel locks on it, tightened it up, and it was good to go. And haven't had any issues out of that since then, so, you know, take that as you will. I'm not really too broken up about that. The only other issue I've seen so far on this is the sling mounting plate is loose. It looks like they just didn't tighten the screws all the way. You know, that's something I can easily fix with what looks like a T15 or T20, and then that'll be fixed. And beyond that, I'll be honest, I went into this gun expecting not to like it. But the more I shoot it, the more I do. It's weird, like AKs have never been my thing, but I actually enjoy shooting this gun way more than I expected to. So I guess to sum it up, if you're looking to get an entry-level cheap AK, it's a compelling buy. It's been reliable. I've only put like 200 rounds through it because I just don't keep my 39 on hand. I bought a case of it and I'm just going through it periodically. You know, it's not the prettiest gun in the world. It has some build quality issues, but it runs. So an AK that you can buy for $600 that runs and can hit a man-sized target at 300 yards easily, I consider that a win. So that said, yeah, it's a not bad AK. I'd even go so far as to say it is a pretty mediocre AK. And for $600, you can't ask for a whole lot more than that. So thank you for joining me. I know this is kind of a shorter video, but I don't have a whole lot of rounds to it, so there's not as much to say. And I just don't know the platform very well to really get into the weeds on it. So I will make sure this ends up in at least 1 or 2 more videos, and hopefully you'll see it around a little bit more. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below so you get notified, or hit the bell. That's the one that notifies you when we release a video. So yeah, do that. Tell all your friends that we're the best gun channel on YouTube. If you have to lie to them, that's okay, because I can't think of a reason. Just tell your friends about us, because we could use the support. All right, thank you. You have a good one.